got Rich with me from Cleaversoft. You have made a game called EarthNight, and you came up to me and you said, yo, what up? I made an infinite runner, and I nearly dropped a smoke bomb and disappeared. Because, like, who comes up to you at a place and says, I made an infinite runner?
Hold on.
Who does that?
Hold on.
What sort of mobile phone garbage person does? But your game is fucking good, though.
Did you have some fun? Get some fun playing?
Did have fun. This is called EarthNight. Tell us about EarthNight.
First of all, it's not endless. It's the first endless runner with an end. And actually, the end is...
Just call that a runner.
The end is EarthNight. You start out in space, and you skydive all the way down to the planet through really, really hard levels riddled with dragons. And the final world is called EarthNight, surface of the planet. That's where you got to get. You got to beat the EarthNight dragon.
So what I love about this is it is, number one, procedurally generated. There are specific chunks of dragon, you told me, that will be used, but they're always used in a random order. And you gave me some sort of mathematic expression of the number of chunks, and it's intense.
So the first dragon, Paul's running it right now.
Did you see that Shadow of the Colossus head stab, by the way?
It's my second.
That's good shit.
Most dragons are made of 3 chunks, a beginning, a middle, and an end, and they have at least 5 variations. And so each of those dragons has, even though there's only 15 chunks, especially for the first dragon, you'll start to recognize 125 different ways that it can lay out.
And we all know that because that's dragon biology.
Once you get to the next dragon, it's 125 squared.
Okay.
First world, you're talking like 3.9 million seeds. But I mean, the final game, even though there will be parts that you recognize, every single run you take at this will be different. Your path to EarthNight will always be different and riddled with danger.
And it is not just a straight single switch run and jump either. There are levels of control to these characters and different ways to go and different power-ups that really change things in a way that you don't often see in a runner.
It has more depth and love put into it than I think anyone's ever put into a game in the genre. I've been working on it for more than 3 years, and I have no end in sight.
He's got a jump, but he can also control his running speed slightly. You can speed up, slow down. You have a downward stomp to stomp on certain enemies. You also have pickups, like I picked up a sword that let me slash through certain enemies. I picked up a double jump at some point. So there are a bunch of different things that I would normally associate with an infinite runner that give me the level of control that I'm more used to seeing in a platform.
Right, I would say we're, at the end of the day, probably more of a platformer than like a runner, even though you are running. You can't stop yourself.
It's closer to like a force scroll Mega Man X sort of thing than it is to like a Cannibal. In between the levels here, like you guys probably just saw it, I don't know how clear it was, you go into this free fall where you can see like all of the different dragons that could potentially be next for you, and you choose your dragon.
As you get further and further, it gets faster and faster and faster. You can't stop. Your eyes start to bleed. You can't like answer a phone. You can't take a moment to breathe. And my game gets very fast and very hard at the end. But when you're skydiving, you get a moment of peace and beauty where you can relax from your last dragon. It's a moment of clarity, but it's also a level select in the most traditional sense. Some worlds have bosses. Some have bosses you could avoid. Some have warps to take you back to other worlds. The main progression is realistic. You start in the thermosphere, second world is the mesosphere, third is the stratosphere, fourth is...
It's really important to get that realistic in your game about flying dragons, huh?
It really is, yeah. The moon in the final game will be synced with the regular moon, and that'll have consequences.
2 different characters. What is the difference between the 2 characters?
Stanley's for beginners, who you got to play, and hopefully you'll try Sydney afterwards. Stanley's just more basic mechanic. Sydney has a unique double jump. You only get one, and it depends on when you press it in the arc of your jump. So the first third of the jump, it's a forward dash. Right at the peak, a traditional double jump, and on the way down, a downward dash. And you only get one, but if you bounce on an enemy, you get another. To a newcomer who's playing for the first time, this feels crazy, and you'd be like, I'll never get this. But if you play for a little bit, she's who gamers will end up playing.
I want to talk about the art and the sound. You guys can't hear the music. The music's by Hypocrite. It's in my head already. I was playing for like 4 seconds. It's amazing.
Hypocrite is unbelievable. He just dropped his newest album. It's called Wordplay. You can get it on the internet.
He's playing right now. He's doing fine. You're doing fine.
He's doing pretty good. No,
you're fine.
He still hasn't beaten your score. Anthony got the best score of the day. Straight up. It happened. It's real.
I was one with the game. And then tell me about your artist.
Paul Davey. His internet handle is Matahan, Matahan. You can check him out on our website, Cleaversoft.com. He is the most unbelievable artist I've ever experienced. He paints every frame of everything you see on the screen.
So this is, this is being demoed at the PlayStation 10. I think the first time I saw this, I saw the trailer at E3 when I was at the PlayStation booth. So clearly you are coming to PlayStation platforms.
I am launching on PlayStation 4 as soon as I'm done.
How long is that?
I'm thinking less than a year and a half.
Okay.
There's only like 4 of us who work full time. I have another job too, and we're trying our hardest. We work all the time as hard as we can.
Yeah.
But I've come too far. I know what it is when it's done. I know what it is, and I've come too far not to finish it right. So
Just seeing how different it is and how much it shows you that it's not so much the genre that's important as like the level of detail and work and sort of love for the genre that goes into it. You guys have done an amazing job.
unbelievable. I'm on a mission to change the way you feel about runners, and it sounds like I might have won you over today, which is
Check it out, guys. Cleaversoft.
EarthNight.
EarthNight.
Like night and day, one word. Check it out.
Indicate. Are you okay back there playing? Is this hard for you? If I
That was
do
pathetic. Let's go start.